Welcome, friends. This is your host, Ankit Goenka, Traction Talks with Ankit. This is a forum to discuss candid conversations with startup founders who've been there, done that. And we are reaching out to global PropTech founders in this forum to discuss what's happening in short-term rental industry, how's been their journey, what they have done. So today we have someone very special, Noelia Novella. She's built a global PropTech business out of Spain and now in Singapore. She's a good friend of mine since I started my journey in short-term rentals, which is 5 years back. We've met in an industry forum and we've been in touch since then. And I've seen how Noelia has transformed her business from a PropTech startup to a global platform, managing a lot of operations and tech. We'll hear more about it from her. So welcome on board, Noelia. Thanks to have you here. So every startup founder has a moment when they say, okay, I'm going to jump and do this, implement this idea, and that idea keeps getting more onto you. So what was that moment for you? And when did you decide that, okay, this is it and I need to jump into and do this, solve this problem?
Well, first thing, thank you for the invitation to the podcast. We have a really beautiful story because 11 years ago we took a round the world trip to figure out where we wanted our kids to grow up. We mostly stayed in short-term rentals and the experience was amazing except for one thing, the cleaning. Okay, and it was just not professional, and somehow we all grow up with hotel standards, and when you sleep away from home, that's the baseline that gets expected, right? So Doinn was born from that insight, using technology to help the cleaning companies that serve hotels and bringing those standards into vacation rentals. And a lot had changed since then because property managers grow a lot and they have in-house cleaning companies, and many cleaning companies has been born already for short-term rentals, but the sense is the same, right? Measure and improve frontline performance and give operators the tools to implement and guarantee quality consistently. So for me, that's the bridge between a brand's promise and the guest's real experience.
So again, how are the incorporation days like when you just started the company and I believe the conversations we had initially, you're running out of Excel files and you're managing the operations using Excel, and I think Google Accelerator happened to you at that time. And so how was it going all over the world and pitching your product, and how was that first 6 months to 8 months of your journey?
We actually started as a marketplace. We really wanted to bring the professional services to the industry with our tech. There was a point in 2023 that we actually start commercializing the software that these providers and these property managers were using in the marketplace, right? So yeah, that's how it started, how it evolved, and we are putting more effort right now into the software as a service.
So before we go into the exact problems of STR industry, what is the landscape of the industry from your point of view, running a global startup, PropTech startup? Would you want to explain that? And also somebody who's running 10 to 50 to 100 to 250 rentals, what are the key operational challenges they face and in this world, and how should they look at it in general?
I love that segmentation because definitely the pain points are completely different, right? So someone with less than 10 units are still managing everything with WhatsApp. A lot of conversations, a lot of groups, a lot of pictures all together in WhatsApp. That makes that the quality cannot really be tracked. And people burn out and it's pretty chaotic. When they have 50 units, the problem gets bigger. Sometimes they are juggling vendors, and that takes you a lot of time of energy to negotiate and mainly to track if you don't have the right tools. They are supposed to be following SLAs, and it's complicated to check that happen. And then we have the maintenance issues. When you have less than 10, they usually have only one handyman, and it's more than enough. When you start 50, it's like the Murphy laws, everything happens the same day at the same time, and maintenance is always like the ping pong ball, right? It's like, no, I'm a cleaner, I don't do this, but I need you to send someone here. And then there is another point that is super complex, that is logistics, right? When we talk about toiletries, when we talk about linen, toilet paper, that is super bulky, right? It's not that easy. It's not really that easy if you're doing things manually.
Yeah.
And then 500 units, many times when they have 500 units, they are actually in several cities. Sometimes they even deal with different languages, and you have that a lot in India, right?
Yes, of course.
Fragmenting data across the PMS, across the housekeeping, across the maintenance. The SLAs are become even more complex, right? More than all this chaotic thing is that they have extremely high operations expenses, extremely high OPEX, right? And it's amazing to be focused, to have a good position on Airbnb and to put the right pricing. But if you are spending more money than you should in operations, big problem as well.
I get that. It's a very highly competitive business to be in, and the operating margin needs to be tightly tracked upon. But why do this problem exist, Noelia? I mean, it's 2025, it's world of AI, there are so many PMSs, there is so many marketplaces. What's happening in the industry? I mean,
what happens is that cleaning is the least sexy thing of this business. And it's actually the most complex one, right?
Yes.
PMSs are focused in solving the problem for the property managers, but for the property managers that are actually in the management team, right? The CEO, the CIO, all these chief whatever thing. But they actually don't talk that much to the cleaners. They don't actually talk that much to the supervisors. They don't know much about what is going on in the operational part. So our business is very, very labor intensive. PMS platform do their best with tax boards, but the market right now needs much more. Doinn spans 9 modules. Tax management is just one, and even that one goes well beyond PMS, right? Because we've been doing this for 10 years.
So, you've labeled as European breezeway, but I believe labels don't tell the entire story. So, can you explain in layman's term what exactly is Doinn as a platform? What is so unique about it? How are you better than your competitors in doing what you all are doing?
Yes. So, I like to say that we are the number 1 tech partner for managing operations for property management companies and their service providers. There's going to be a big difference here. So we integrate with the PMSs to automate cleaning and maintenance across all the properties, simplify the day-to-day operations with AI tax creation, with a single dashboard to monitor all the status. We provide with a lot of analytics, a lot of data on service, cost, staff performance. What we do better than anyone else is the last mile execution, let's call it like that, because we have real-time scheduling across multiple vendors and cities. We have a quality assurance at the scale, very important for those we were talking before, right? The 500 unit ones, with all kind of checklists, photos, videos, and so on. Performance telemetry, with a lot of cost per checkout, with a lot of who is on time, first time right, all these kind of things we want, because we want the cleaners to have the motivation and the engagement to do a good job, but we need data for that. So basically operators use Doinn to hit on-time turnovers, to cut the operational cost, and to keep guest standards consistently, okay, whether they run 10, 50 or 500 units. If we compare, I love what Breezeway has built, and their CEO, Jeremy, knows I admire him a lot, but what sets us apart is that we have a better value for money just because our HR costs are lower since we are in South Europe, right? On the other hand, we customize more things and we are very quick. Why? Because we do understand our clients more as a partners. We want to help them to grow with our tech. We know that if we help them, that's going to help us as well to get the next client, because the problems that the needs that one client has are going to come sooner or later to someone else. My co-founder, Nuno, he's in charge of the product and he's involved in most of the demos we have. Maybe not in the first demo, but when the demo gets very, very heavy, he's the one there because it's the best way to keep learning. And that's our thing, right? Also, we are very specialized in medium term and co-livings, as we work with the largest co-living in the world, Habit, the German guys. What else? Many of our clients are cleaning companies, right? And we have a lot of features for them. And it helps to engage very much the cleaning teams with our tech because it has been built for them. Field workers, because if field workers are not comfortable using the app, property managers are paying for a software and they are not able to take the most of the software, right? Because there is a part in the chains that is losing information. With regards, Guesty, for example, they are an excellent PMS, but that said, their operations model is comparatively to us quite basic, right? Guesty and Doinn started around the same time, 10 years ago. They invested in a full PMS. They have everything you can imagine, but we have gone very, very deep on operations. So yeah, that's the difference here.
Noelia, so totally understand that, in short-term rentals, it's not just product and tech edge, because it's not just about features, it's about how you make your customers feel through that product. So again, you've covered at length about how you've gone deep in operations stack and how you've sort of gone to ensure operators have great last mile delivery experience for their end consumers. But what are the top features that customers just love about your platform?
Given the current maturity of the property management companies, there is one thing they like a lot is the timestamp we have on photos and videos.
Yes.
So a cleaner cannot upload yesterday's picture. Mm-hmm. The auto-generated service report, they actually can share with owners, for example, or even with Airbnb to resolve a complaint, right? Mm-hmm. And this is happening more and more. The guest complain, the shower hasn't been clean, but we actually have a digital proof, right? And it's super well organized and looks beautiful, and with the timestamp of when the picture was taken and when the picture was uploaded, so there is no way to trick the system. And we also have an amazing maintenance solution that probably exceeds expectations because we have real-time quotations and instant approval workflow. So imagine the cleaner finds that the tap is not working properly, she opens very, very easy a ticket, and then the handyman receives the notification, makes a quotation right now that is going to cost you $50, and then the supervisor or the person that is at the office in charge of these kind of things will approve, and the flow will start and the handyman solve the problem. This is a very simple example. It can be much complex, right? So yeah, probably those three things are the ones that they use the most these days.
So that brings me to the next question, Noelia, that, in emerging markets, especially countries like India and maybe Brazil, maybe Mexico, things are not very digital at the last mile end. The caretakers are not that great in terms of digital savviness. They can use a basic phone and they can maybe upload a picture. But, how is your platform solving for these markets? And how do you sort of plan to penetrate these markets with your products?
Well, there are countries that seems not to be such tech-savvy countries, but they actually are pretty good. But yeah, Mexico, for example, we tried to open that market in 2021, and it was too early from that aspect. But nowadays they are ready. I mean, the strategy here is to make a very simple app, okay, for the people that is in the field. Then inside our platform, we have many different roles with different permissions, with different access, but the app is as simple as possible. We also have a very cute feature that is providing instant translation tools for them to communicate even easier, right? so they can read everything in their own language. They write in their own language if necessary, and then the person that is in the office will read in the language they want. So yeah, again, I mean, the trick here when you are making a product is to listen to the market. Because many persons are using the platform, all of them, all the personas.
In short-term rentals, integration is the oxygen, I believe. You need to integrate with PMSs, with OTAs. How is Doinn doing in terms of integration? What's the distribution strategy? Are you going direct to the operators, or are you going through these PMS partners?
Okay, so our PMS and OTA integration, basically what they do is to synchronize the property details and reservation data.
Yes.
And it makes easier to coordinate and visualize all the cleaning, the laundry, the maintenance tasks, right? And we have integrated around 50, I think. But to be honest, because there are a lot of PMSs that they don't even have an open API yet, and there are property managers that develop their own system, their own property management system. So we found a way not to need integrations. If we have them, it's faster. If not, we can upload all kind of information on a spreadsheet, and everything can be configured in less than 10 minutes. Very, very easy.
Understood. So it's one thing to build a product, it's another thing to survive, especially when storms like COVID, we all have faced it. And what I gather is you launched this business in US during the tough times of COVID. So how did you survive that period? How did you scale the business in US around that time?
Very well informed. But hey, we are already a 10 years old company.
Yeah.
What means that we were consolidated in Europe for 5 years already before COVID hit.
Yes.
And we have the brilliant idea of hiring an amazing, great sales guy to launch the US in March 2020. But as you can imagine, he never really had the opportunity to grow the business. We tried back in 2023. Now we hire another Mateo who used to work for Muse. I mean, we are growing there as well. But COVID hit very, very strong for us. We were lucky, we just raised money at that time to launch the American market. It was not for that, it was more for surviving. Here we are 5 years later, stronger than ever, and that's what we have to keep in mind.
And what's the sweet spot for Doinn in terms of customer size? I mean, a very large operator with thousands of properties, or a mid-size operator with 100, 200 properties, or a smallest operator with 10, 15, 20 properties.
Well, my theory is that the larger the operator, the bigger is the operations problem, right?
Yes.
And the greater the value we deliver. That said, we work with property management companies of all sizes because it also is different by market, right? We have clients right now in 18 countries, 18, and think that a 5-unit company is more common in Florida than in Rome, for example, right? So we just solve a bigger problem if the problem is bigger. But I think nowadays, again, it's all about maturity. It's all about, I've been worried before about acquiring new properties and then to take the most in terms of pricing. And now people, because of the maturity, is more focusing in saving, right? In saving costs. So that's where we fit.
What's the playbook like? I mean, you have a different playbook for Europe versus US versus Asia. I mean, because different markets, different customer landscape. So how do you handle these kind of complexities in the business?
Tough question. What I see is that countries where the service labor is high, where the cleaners are very expensive, our customers use Doinn optimization tools to save more money, right? They are more focused on that. They're more worried about that. For example, in Australia, we're doing very well because property management companies are paying $50, $60 per hour of cleaning. So imagine if it's a big house, it's just terrible, right? So with us, they save 20% minimum, sometimes much more. So that means that the savings are very significant. But then in premium markets like Dubai, for example, the labor is not that expensive. They are very focused in quality assurance because brand standards are not negotiable, right? So I would say that more than a one playbook, one size fit all playbook, what we train, what I do my best to train the sales team is to understand each user persona needs and match the features to what they value the most. But sometimes, it's not even about the market of the country, it's just a lot of property managers are coming from the hoteling industry, right? So they have different needs than the other ones, but we have 9 models for them to focus in whatever they want and to make them all happy. Each property manager just take the most of the model that is more relevant for them.
So STR industry is going very, very fast. I mean, at least in Asia, double-digit growth. India markets hitting 8 billion by 2030. Southeast Asia hitting another $25-30 billion market. So between Middle East, Southeast Asia and India, we're looking at a 60 billion kind of a market, which is roughly 3 times what it was pre-COVID. So the industry is growing that fast, as we all know. And the tech is also moving very, very fast with AI and robotics coming in place. So what is the next big thing for tech in short-term rental industry? Is it AI? Is it IoT? Is it robotics? And where do you see it happening in your field, which is maintenance, housekeeping, operations, all of that?
In our case, it's definitely AI is the winner on this, right? But because we have 10 years of historical data, global data, and it enables trustworthy automation of tasks and workflows, and we are going into an autonomous operation. It's just strange for me with companies that are younger, that are new. They might like this foundation, right? We're actively deploying that data and continue to invest in advanced AI capabilities. We'll see the rest of the companies, how they do it. Robotics for cleaning, we're still a little bit far in terms of properties. We can see robotics already cleaning in malls and so on. And IoT, I think, it's done, right? I mean, what else? We don't need more, I believe. I don't know. It's just my perception. Okay, our idea of success is to keep bringing a lot of value to our clients and in as many countries as possible. These many countries as possible is probably because I'm from Spain, but the company is Portuguese. That is a tiny country, and we always look to the outside, right? And we operate in 18 countries, supporting 8 currencies, 8 languages. That's how we see our future. Okay. What I'm not that sure is where the short-term rental industry is going to be in 5 years. It is true that it's growing, but there is something already happening, that is the hospitality and real estate are converging around a flexible use. We see the same property can be a short-term, it can be mid-term, it can be a student accommodation, it can be co-living because they are renting per rooms. It all depending on the season, depending on demand, right? Very important here. We are changing the way people are changing the way they live, right? So what I'm sure about is that operators need tools that adapt to the use case, not only the leg of stay, but with the tools, right?
I mean, having spent so many years in this industry and having grown it to a global PropTech sort of a company, if you have to start all over again back in time, what would you do and how will you do it differently?
Well, it's just we started as a marketplace and we created a company that was not scalable, although we really wanted to have an scalable company from day one. So we'll skip that part, definitely. Although, I mean, we learned a lot and the product we have these days is because of that. But at the end of the day, if I had to give an advice to every property manager listening right now, what I'm gonna say is that people are for clients and they can be guests or they can be owners. and software are for everything else, okay? For checklists, for rostering, for data, for getting to know where the field employees are with the GPS, automating the flows, managing the SLAs. And again, WhatsApp is like using a calculator instead of a spreadsheet, and not even talking about the AI solutions we have nowadays. So just make a step forward and try to focus the energy in people, right?
Tech is very important for sure in offering a great experience to customers. But for us now, tech is working as a cost management sort of tool, and more distribution, more discovery, more marketing. So it's really, we are able to manage 200 plus properties with a very small number of people because we deploy technology in 80% of the operations. So that's what it is. But thanks, Noelia. Thanks for spending time with me, doing this podcast, bringing a lot of insights from your experience of running a global PropTech company. We wish you all the best for future. And we are all watching each other's journey and meeting in a lot of conferences for sure. So let's stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit, for this opportunity of having me in your podcast.